What's going on, everybody? Good evening. Hope you guys are doing well. Time for another one of our weekly series videos. You guys know what we do on Wednesday. You guys know what it's all about. We take a look at college football, talk about some of the top prospects. I will say, if we're going to be straight honest, the upcoming NFL draft just got a little bit less interesting for the Seahawks because they lost two of their picks. And I think it was reasonable to do that trade, but that doesn't change the fact that we now have less to think about for this draft. And right now, the Seahawks only have four picks. They have a first, a second, a third, and a sixth. So it's going to be a little bit of a sparser draft season. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing because this draft doesn't look great, but still fun to have stuff to talk about. So we're going to do the offense in this video, and I'll be back in 60. All right, guys, let's take a minute so I can tell you about Sleeper, a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat on sports games in real time with other users. You can get the fastest scores, blazing fast sports news and sports alerts right at your fingertips. And of course, you can use Sleeper to play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. This is the way sports were meant to be enjoyed together. So download Sleeper today. Use promo code SBN to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. And you can pair that with another promo they have right now where you can get a $20 entry free with no deposit required. So get both of those things going. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and growing. So check out Sleeper today, get to it, and go have some fun with sports this year. So this week actually does a pretty good job of highlighting that because I'm just going to say it. On the offensive side of the ball, this week was bad. This was a really bad week for offensive prospects that I'm evaluating and looking at. And it does highlight the fact that while there are going to be good players, of course, it's really not going to be all that appealing, especially on the offensive line. At the positions the Seahawks need help. Center and right guard in this draft was really, really bad this week, and overall, it's not going to be a great class. So if you're wondering why the Seahawks seem to feel kind of liberated to give up their picks for this upcoming draft, I think a look at this class kind of educates you on why. But nevertheless, let's take a look at some stuff with running back, wide receiver, center, and right guard. So this is not going to take long because we only have 3 running backs and we have 2 total offensive linemen. It's a little bit bleak out there, guys. So when Travion Wisner of Texas put up just over 100 yards from scrimmage on 20 touches and a touchdown, he's coming on strong a little bit here at the end of the year. He was really, really quiet to start the year. Not really doing a lot, not really even getting on the field, but he's doing more lately, and he's going to be a guy who gets drafted if he declares. 72.1 PFF grade. He's certainly a talent. Texas actually has 2 backs that could get drafted next year if they come out. Jeremiah Love, still the top running back in this class. Awesome game for him. Well over 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, 4 catches. Very efficient. He continues to be the man. And I don't think he'll be a first-round pick. It wouldn't shock me if he was. 75.8 grade. And the final guy this week is going to be Jamari Taylor. And this is a new name. I haven't mentioned him before. He gave you 21 carries and 4 catches, over 120 yards from scrimmage, 2 touchdowns, 64.4 PFF. I think the grade got dragged down because he, I think his pass protection was bad. I think he had some bad reps in pass pro, but good with the ball in his hands. And once again, this is the second week in a row this has happened. That was it. Jonah Coleman was on a bye. Justice Haynes didn't play. There were a couple other reasonably high-profile running backs like, Moss at Texas A&M hasn't played in a couple weeks, but A&M didn't play this week, so even if he was healthy, he wouldn't have played. It was bad. It was bad, so I did the best that I could, but it's not very... It was lean this week. Not really lean at receiver, though, and I know that some people might say we don't need to talk about wide receiver anymore because we got Shaheed. Technically, though, Shaheed is a free agent next year. We haven't extended him yet. Until we extend him, I still think receiver is just as big a need as it was before. And I do think that while I don't know about using a first-round pick at wide receiver anymore, I do think using one of our top 100 picks is a reasonable thought. Carnell Tate for OSU was great, like he pretty much always is. 5 catches, 5 targets, super efficient, 124 yards and a touchdown. As Ohio State continues to roll and look like the best team in the country. 78.1. Can't ask for much more than what he's doing right now. He looks to be the next great NFL wide receiver from OSU. Zakaria Branch, haven't talked about him in a little bit here, but he had one of his best games of the year for Georgia. 10 targets, 10 catches, 112 yards, 74.9. Good stuff. I like him. And he's starting to get pushed down a little bit in draft talks, which I think is nice. Assuming it holds. Assuming it holds, I think that's a really good guy to go after in day 2, maybe even early day 3. Antonio Williams of Clemson, big game for him. Rare big game for him because Clemson, it's just been kind of a slog all year. 12 targets, 10 catches, $142 and a touchdown. Really good. Obviously, Clemson's having big problems this year, but Antonio Williams chalked in with a good game here. Checked in, rather, 81.2. Cooper Barcate, new name here. Not a guy who was on my radar, but he's really moving up board. Some people are even talking about him as a second-rounder now, the Duke guy. 6 catches, 127 yards, only 8 targets and a touchdown. Great stuff. 72.4. Really, really good. So I think that I'm always a little bit wary of the guys who just blow up out of nowhere, seemingly, but Barcade has ascended very fast here. Final guy is Skylar Bell of UConn. A little bit of a smaller school, but he showed out big time this week, and he's getting draft attention. 8 catches, 12 targets, 149 yards, 3 touchdowns, 79.3. So, with numbers like that, got to get your attention. And then we have the offensive line stuff, and like I said, this week was bad. Like, we got Jake Slaughter at center. He was graded really well, 78.2. Didn't allow any pressures. Florida didn't run the ball that well, but they were playing tough competition, so it's understandable. 33.6 yards per carry, whatever. I do imagine he's probably going to be, him and the Oregon guy are going to be the best centers. But that was literally it, because Iopanu, or I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, but the guy on Oregon, he was on bye. Connor Lew's injured. The Iowa was on a bye. Like, it was tough sledding. So the only other guy I could find on the line this week was Babechi Nawu of Oklahoma. I believe I talked about him previously a little bit. No pressures allowed. Oklahoma ran the ball well. 192 yards, 5.5 yards per. 63.7, not great, but he was one of the few right guards of any reasonably high profile that actually played. So straight up, like, there's not much to speak of with the offensive line crew. So there are going to be better weeks going forward because Oregon's not always going to be on a bye. Alabama's not always going to be on a bye. Like, with all the players that were not playing this week, it's understandable why this happened, but it does highlight, it highlights the fact that there's a little bit of a problem here. All right, I'll see you guys later. I have one more video I'm going to be posting tonight, the defense side. See you guys then. Go Hawks. Everybody have a great rest of your day.